Good evening. This is Langara News for April 5th, 2013. I'm Annie Ellison.
And I'm Jillian Hames. Today's top stories. The latest slump in employment leads some people to question the BC Liberals' job creation strategy.
A Kitsilano secondary school teacher is under investigation by the Vancouver police for alleged misconduct.
An NDP election victory would mean new life for the BC film industry, says one New Democrat candidate. The job market in BC continues to flop according to recent statistics. The unemployment rate in the province rose to 7% in March, with over 20,000 jobs being lost. BC has had the second worst job growth rates in the country for almost 2 years. The construction industry in particular has been hit hard. Reporter James McLaughlin has more.
According to Stats Canada, over 22,000 jobs in BC have gone down the drain. One of the industries that has been reportedly hit the hardest is construction. However, according to Alan Below with Ventana Construction, Vancouver hasn't suffered much from the loss.
In general, Vancouver, as a whole, it's easier to get work in construction.
He says for those working outside the Lower Mainland, jobs may become harder to come by.
For instance, Seashell, they had 2 big, huge projects last year, but all the rest of it was residential, so there's really no work there for 50 guys maybe for 2 years.
With this job crunch, Below suggests job hunters take what they can get.
There's a lot of work out there, and I think a lot of it is too people don't want to accept the work that's out there because it's so low on the wage scale.
According to Chantel Krish with the YWCA Job Center, those who have recently found themselves unemployed may want to rethink their career choice.
One of the things we tell our clients is it's important to open your horizons around what you expect your job to be, right? Like you might think, okay, I want to get a 9 to 5, I want to have a pension, I want to have benefits, but like that, our current market might not dictate that.
Recent job losses are expected to not bode well for the BC Liberal Party, who are looking for re-election next month. For Langara News, I'm James McLaughlin.
With the provincial election just over a month away, the struggles faced by the BC film industry are becoming a hot campaign topic. BC Liberals have said no to new tax breaks, but the NDP seem to be hinting at incentives. Jacqueline Langan has the story.
BC's film industry is on the decline. Jobs are moving east because the provincial government refuses to provide additional tax breaks. NDP candidate Matt Toner feels the situation requires immediate attention.
We built up this industry here over the course of decades of work. I mean, you can see here, this studio, these trucks, it's pilot season right now. This is really part of the heart of Vancouver. And it's all kind of starting to get very fragile. And if it goes away in a city as expensive as this is, it's going to be very, very hard to bring it back. So I think we have to take action now. We can't wait.
Set director Josh Pickens is lucky to be working on a pilot in Vancouver, but he agrees BC is losing out to other provinces offering better breaks.
We know we're appreciated by the guys, that come up here from LA and stuff like that, but that's business. So until we can compete with the rest of the country, unfortunately, this is the way it's going to continue.
Film representatives claim the industry brings in $1 billion a year to the province. New Democrat Matt Toner says these profits are at risk.
How do we draw it back? It won't be easy. So again, right now I think that we're at that tipping point, and we need to send a strong signal to the industry that things can change, because I think things need to change. Otherwise, all this just goes away.
It's not known if the industry will get what it wants, but what is clear is that the issue will be center stage in the upcoming election. For Langara News, I'm Jacqueline Langan.
Your kids are less healthy than you were at their age, so what's the government doing about it? With obesity on the rise, the BC Liberals claim they're taking steps towards making your kids healthier. In the near future, your kids may be playing games online to make better choices about their health. Warren Janet has the story.
At a press conference today, the health minister said the program will focus on making a healthy lifestyle fun for kids.
And it has been a very successful program in the UK. And it's going to be available starting this month at the YMCA, at BC Recreation and Parks Association member departments in Vancouver, in the township of Langley, in Kelowna, Prince George, and in Saanich. And by 2014, it's going to be available in 15 different BC communities.
I'm at the Granville Island Kids Market, where we're asking parents what they think of the new initiative.
I think it's a good idea to make it accessible, like having a community centers and things like that. Yeah.
I think it's very, very important to bring it back into the schools. Healthy eating, healthy living, and healthy minds.
I think that's great. Really not sure how many people they can reach that way.
The new initiative will expand existing services and offer a new service called MEN. It will help families access medical, nutritional, and psychological support. The new program comes at a price tag of $8 million. For Langara News, I'm Warren Janney.
A Kitsilano teacher has been suspended due to serious accusations of misconduct. Students were shocked today to hear that one of their teachers is under investigation. The school is sending home a newsletter assuring parents that student safety is a priority. Counseling will be made available to students who are concerned. Jessica Cunningham has the story.
It looks like an ordinary day at your typical Vancouver high school, but when the students at Kitsilano Secondary arrived for their first classes this morning, they were in for a surprise. Students have just found out that one of their teachers is being investigated for allegations of misconduct.
So we don't know who the teacher is, but when we do, we're probably going to be staying away from that person, obviously.
The Vancouver Police Department is in the early stages of their investigation and aren't releasing information about who the teacher might be or what the allegations are.
They haven't told us anything. I actually heard about it from my grandmother. She told me about it. She heard it on the news. So, yeah.
Have you guys heard anything about this before today?
No. Well, last night, but then I didn't know. Someone told me, like, did you hear about it? And I didn't know about it until today. Our teacher mentioned it. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I didn't expect it. But.
Do you know what teacher it is?
No, nobody does. Well, VSB does.
Okay.
The students don't know.
Do you know when you're going to find out, or if you're going to find out?
Probably not until they know something more.
Kurt Heinrich of the Vancouver School Board has said that the accusations are serious, that the teacher's suspension is to ensure that the teachers and that the students feel safe.
Oh, does it make you feel any different?
Oh no, it just feels perfect. I don't even know what happened. I got to school a bit late, so I missed what happened.
It's kind of weird because it's our school, but it's not like I feel like it's the same. I don't know. I don't feel any different.
Counseling is being made available. For the Langara News, I'm Bronwyn Scott.
Vancouver police have a man in custody following the February homicide on Commercial Drive. 27-year-old Matthew Anthony Cook appeared in court this morning charged with manslaughter. He and another man were fighting on Venables Street near the drive early in the morning of February 9th. When police arrived, the victim's injuries were severe. He later died in hospital, but police have not released the cause of death.
59-year-old Michael Charles Gregory is the victim. Our major crime section investigated the death. Yesterday afternoon at about 2:30, we arrested a 27-year-old man, and he has been charged with manslaughter.
Up next, the latest on a disturbing shooting at a Quebec daycare.
And a new strain of bird flu has broken out in China. Find out more after the break.
Now in national news. Parents in Gatineau, Quebec are shaken up this morning after a daycare shooting. None of the 53 children were harmed, but police say 2 men are dead. One was the gunman and the other was a worker at the daycare. Gatineau Chief of Police said the shooting could be related to a recent separation. Former Calgary Mayor and Alberta Premier Ralph Klein is being remembered today at a public memorial. The celebration of his life is taking place at the Jack Singer Concert Hall at the Epcor Centre for the Performing Arts in Calgary. Klein, known fondly as the People's Premier, died Friday at age 70.
In international news, a Canadian firm has been involved in a Russian tax scandal dating back to 2007. Today, the CBC reported that the company, Commonwealth Trust Limited, allowed corporations to transfer money from around the world. The company failed to check their clients' businesses, allowing fraud. CTL was sold to a Dutch company in 2009. In China, authorities reported the 6th death from a new strain of bird flu. The cause was due to contact with live fowl in a Shanghai market. Sales of the birds, which were being sold for their meat, have now been halted. Over 20,000 birds, including chickens and ducks, were killed to avoid the strain of the H7N9 bird flu. Canada turns 150 in 4 years, but planning for the big party starts now. CBC and Via Rail are hosting a series of discussions across the country on what the birthday celebrations will involve. Vancouver kicked off the Patriotic Roundtable today. Haley McDonald has more.
Canadians from all walks of life gather to offer up their ideas on how to celebrate turning 150 in 2017. The big question: what does it mean to be Canadian, and how do we celebrate that? The ideas ranged from toughening up environmental laws to improving community engagement to furthering Aboriginal equality. Actor Adam Beach stars in the TV series Arctic Air. He's heard from many who see him as a role model. He gets emotional in describing a tweet from a young suicidal Aboriginal boy who calls the actor an inspiration.
Dare to dream.
While there have been challenges for singer Biff Naked, many of her dreams have come true. She describes what being Canadian means to her.
It was amazing being here with everyone in the room, and certainly being on the list with all the speakers that are here today. I learned so much. Half of these people, I think, could be in politics and implement huge, wonderful changes in this country.
Organizers say these discussions are just to brainstorm about what the 150th birthday will involve. The next stop on the tour, Calgary, and then on to Toronto. For Langara News, I'm Haley McDonald in Vancouver.
And now, over to Patrick Colvin with the latest.
And now for sports. Last night, the Canucks played host to the surging Edmonton Oilers. After losing to Edmonton 4-0 last Saturday, the Canucks turned the tables to beat Edmonton by the same 4-0 score. Schneider earned his 4th shutout of the season, while Derek Roy notched an assist in his first game with Vancouver. Henrik Sedin, Higgins, Kassian, and Bieksa all had goals for Vancouver. The Canucks will be hosting the Calgary Flames tomorrow at 7:30 Pacific Time. The Davis Cup quarterfinals are kicking off today, where Canada will be facing off against Italy. BC's own Vasek Pospisil will be taking on Andrea Seppi. And later on, Milos Raonic will be facing off against Fabio Fognini. The Vancouver Convention Center is being set up today for the 7th annual Sea to Sky International Cheerleading and Dance Championship. The event, which begins tonight and runs until Sunday, will have 150 teams and over 2,500 athletes competing. With so many athletes, don't be alarmed, as Vancouver will be overflowing with brightly colored leotards and team spirit. And that's what's happening today in the world of sports.
Spring has loved you, and now she's left you. If you thought that spring sunshine was here to stay, you're in for a surprise. Sarah Akdogan has the story.
This week, Vancouverites had a small taste of sunshine, but now for this weekend's forecast, we're going right back to rain.
It's a fact that's having many locals disappointed.
Rain, rain, go away.
Come again some other day. Rain, go away.
And running for cover. Opinions regarding the gloomy weather range from feeling let down
They're disappointing.
to indifference.
It's okay, I don't mind.
It's Vancouver.
I got this jacket, I just cover up when I need to.
And even outright denial.
It's not even raining, babe. Oh, it will be. It will be. Get your umbrellas ready. The rain.
But one thing's for sure, showers are coming, with the temperature ranging between 11 and 13 degrees Celsius. And you'd best get ready.
Where's her umbrella?
For Langara News, I'm Sarah Akdogan.
Coming up next, can food be erotic? According to a new cookbook, it can.
One of the largest comic book collections in the city is up for grabs at auction today. Don't go away.
And next up, we're going over to Katja de Bach for our entertainment news. What's happening today, Katja?
We begin with Studio 58. The season is closing with Balm in Gilead. The last performance is on Sunday. Balm in Gilead is a play about people who frequent cafes in downtrodden areas of any given city, seeking love and friendship. What's special about this play is that the audience is seated within arm's reach of the actors in a realistic cafe setting. But don't worry, there's no audience participation. From love in a cafe to love in the kitchen. Creative writing grad Tanil Gaib will celebrate the release of her first book, Love and Cooking. It's a cookbook filled with erotic short stories and sensual recipes. The launch party is at the Beaumont Studios next Friday. It aims to arouse the senses with arts performances and fabulous eats. The dress code? Sensual. And finally, need something to do with your whining child on a rainy weekend? The Reel-to-Reel Film Festival for Youth gets rolling in the Van City Theatre. The festival showcases the best of international children and youth films. A Made in BC Shorts program features BC and Canadian films, some of which will celebrate their world premiere.
Ieder mens heeft een wolf in zich.
That's it for your entertainment pleasures. Back to you in studio.
19 years ago today, Kurt Cobain, lead singer of the band Nirvana, committed suicide. The iconic musician may be dead, but his spirit lives on. Ben Bulmer has the story.
Over 20 years ago, since Nirvana released their last album, the Seattle grunge band is as influential today as they were in the early 90s. The album Nevermind blasted the three-piece grunge band from obscurity to rock superstardom.
I still sell lots and lots of Nirvana records. I sell the full catalog constantly. I have to restock everything at least once a month, CD and vinyl, but people, you get kids that are 14 coming in and buying the records. You get guys in their 50s coming in and buying Nirvana records. It's one of those bands that they came out at a time where there's just such a wide range, and they've had the staying power that whole time.
For people of a certain age, Cobain's death will always be remembered.
Nobody will ever sound like Nirvana, so that means they're really good at making music.
I think without Nirvana you wouldn't have a lot of the modern music, just they kind of paved the way.
I think that it seems like they were sort of unusual at the time for like grunge and post-punk or something.
And it was such a weird time for them to get big for who they were competing against that, I think it really paved the way for a lot of other bands to say, hey, you know what, we can do this, let's go for it. And I think you got to hear a lot of music you wouldn't have heard otherwise.
Cobain's lifestyle had all the hallmarks of a broken genius, which ultimately left him taking his own life at the tender age of 27.
A lot of people forget how great Nevermind is, just because they automatically associate with Smells Like Teen Spirit, because that's the song that everyone's heard to death a million times, but the rest of that album's so damn good.
For Langara News, I'm Ben Bulmer.
On Saturday and Sunday, two East Vancouver brothers will be auctioning off 60,000 comics and magazines from their collection. The collection features a variety of favorites, including The Amazing Spider-Man, Superman, and Batman. Angie Holubovich has the story.
East Vancouver comic collectors' spidey senses are tingling since the arrival of 60,000 comics at a local auction house. Colin Hole is the manager at Able Auctions. The collection is one of the biggest he's ever seen, with many of the comics graded as being near mint condition.
Everything here has been bagged and boarded. It's very well taken care of. It's a very well preserved collection. A lot of the stuff is graded. A lot of the grades are around 9.6 up to 9.8, which is, very close to a 10, which is pretty rare to find. You can have something brand new off the shelf that is actually only like a 9.6 grade just because of the way it was manufactured, the way it was printed. It may have come out of the printing not so well. So it's very hard to find a collection that has such high quality, very well meticulously taken care of product.
The brothers both started reading comics when they were children. Being 10 years apart, they would read their comics to each other and impersonate voices. The youngest sibling learned to read through their collection, but kept it a secret growing up so that his brother would still read to him. Collecting comics for decades has accumulated a variety of comics of every genre.
It's really diverse. It's probably one of the most diverse on the planet. There's really something for everybody here. And from basically the 1950s on. There's all kinds of genres and all kinds of stuff, not just superheroes.
Western, romance, Archies, Del Harvey, religious, you name it. It's pretty much all here.
Despite the vast collection on the auction block, the brothers do have their favorites.
The Hulk was always my favorite character, and so that led me to owning almost every Hulk comic that was ever made, including #1, which is the biggest piece of monetary value in the collection.
Spider-Man number 138 was the first comic I ever bought. That was it. I was hooked completely after that.
For Langara News, this is Angie Holubovich.
That was your Langara News for April 5th, 2013. For all of our family at Langara News, I'm Annie Ellison. Thanks for watching.